All right. So today we're going deep on Bitcoin.
Ooh, fun.
It's a wild story.
Yeah.
Especially during the Trump presidency.
Right.
We've got some pretty interesting articles and data.
Okay.
And it seems like Bitcoin is kind of a reflection of everything happening around it.
Yeah, it's really striking to me how Bitcoin is supposed to be this decentralized, independent currency.
Right.
But it's super sensitive to global events, almost like a financial barometer of the world's mood.
Yeah, exactly. Like one of these articles mentions how Bitcoin shot up after Trump won the election.
Oh, yeah.
Back in 2016. It went from like $63,000 to $94,000 in just 10 days.
Wow.
And then it even peaked at $102,000 in January of 2025.
Wow, crazy.
So what was going on there? Did everybody just become Bitcoin believers all of a sudden?
Well, I think Trump being so outspoken, supporting cryptocurrency, definitely didn't hurt.
Yeah.
Remember how he was always talking about making the U.S. a global crypto hub? Even hinting at creating a strategic Bitcoin reserve. I think that created a lot of legitimacy and excitement, you know, got investors feeling eager to ride the wave.
So Trump's words created this buzz, and people poured money into Bitcoin, hoping to cash in on that hype.
Exactly.
But here's where things get a little confusing.
Okay.
These same articles that mention this surge also point out that Bitcoin later dipped below $90,000. And guess what they linked this drop to?
What's that?
Trump's trade policies.
Oh, interesting.
Specifically his decisions on tariffs.
Ah, the tariffs.
Yeah.
So, you see, tariffs often introduce uncertainty into the market, make investors nervous, right?
Makes sense.
And when investors get nervous, they tend to pull back from riskier assets.
And what's riskier than a decentralized, unregulated currency like Bitcoin?
Exactly. So they flock to safer, more stable options.
Right.
And that leads to a sell-off and a drop in Bitcoin's value.
And the data you gave me really backs this up.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking massive withdrawals from Bitcoin ETFs. Those are those exchange-traded funds that track Bitcoin's price.
Exactly.
Almost $1 billion fled these ETFs in February 2025.
Wow.
Their worst month ever. Like, investors were hitting the panic button.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So,
ETFs like the iShares Bitcoin Trust ETF
right.
and Fidelity Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund, they're often seen as a gauge of investor confidence in Bitcoin.
Okay.
So those massive withdrawals during that time
Yeah.
indicate a significant shift in sentiment, fueled by all that uncertainty surrounding Trump's trade policies.
So even something seemingly unrelated to the crypto world like trade tariffs can have this ripple effect, shaking investor confidence and sending Bitcoin's value on this downward spiral.
Totally.
It makes you realize how interconnected everything is.
It really does.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. It highlights how Bitcoin, even though it's digital, is still anchored to the real world,
Reacting to all the same forces that sway traditional markets. And speaking of the real world impacting Bitcoin, let's talk about that massive Ethereum hack.
Oh, yeah.
These articles say it was the biggest in history.
Wow.
$1.46 billion stolen.
Gosh.
Potentially by North Korean hackers.
Seriously?
Yeah, to fund their nuclear program.
Oh, wow. That's like something out of a spy thriller.
It really is. But here's my question.
Okay.
Why did this Ethereum hack, a completely different cryptocurrency, affect Bitcoin's value? Shouldn't it have been good for Bitcoin if its biggest rival was suddenly looking less secure?
That's a great question, and it kind of shows this key concept in finance called market contagion.
Okay.
Think of it like this. When a fire breaks out in one part of a forest, that fear and panic can spread rapidly, even to areas that aren't directly affected by the flames.
So even though Bitcoin wasn't the target, the hack on Ethereum created this sense of unease, making investors question the overall security of the crypto market.
Exactly. It raised concerns about vulnerabilities, regulatory gaps, and the potential for future attacks.
And I imagine the sheer scale of the Ethereum hack
Absolutely.
didn't help.
For sure, that fear, coupled with just how big that hack was, led to a broader sell-off in the whole crypto market.
Right.
Dragging down Bitcoin's value with it.
Okay, so Bitcoin is vulnerable to global events.
Yeah.
Like trade wars and even cyber attacks on other cryptocurrencies. But wouldn't that make it a risky investment?
Well, yeah.
I mean, why would anyone put their money
right
into something so unpredictable?
That's the paradox of Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
It's so volatile, subject to these crazy swings in value.
Makes it risky.
Yeah, risky for sure. But it also has the potential for huge returns. For some investors, that's part of the appeal.
Okay.
They see it as a high growth asset, like a tech stock in its early days, you know? They're willing to kind of stomach the roller coaster ride.
For the chance at big profits.
So
it's high risk, high reward.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess that explains why some people are drawn to it, while others just stay away completely.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you? Have you ever been tempted to jump on that Bitcoin roller coaster?
You know, I tend to be a little bit more conservative in my investments.
Yeah.
I prefer assets with a proven track record and a little less volatility.
Less of a roller coaster.
But yeah, I can definitely understand the allure of Bitcoin.
Especially for those with a higher risk appetite.
Totally.
Right. And what about you, our listener?
Yeah.
Have you ever invested in Bitcoin? How do you see those wild swings in value?
Yeah, is it exciting?
Nerve-wracking.
Or something else entirely?
Take a moment and just consider your own perspective on this digital phenomenon that just seems to mirror all the ups and downs of our world.
Right.
It's crazy how Bitcoin is like this mirror reflecting all these global like anxieties and hopes. Trump's policies, the Ethereum hack, trade wars.
It all just shows up in the price.
Yeah, they all leave their mark.
It really does feel like a barometer for global sentiment, you know?
Like a digital gauge measuring our collective like fears and aspirations.
Exactly.
And it's not even just limited to like the big events, right?
Yeah.
Even something as simple as a tweet from someone powerful can send Bitcoin soaring.
Totally. Especially in the age of like instant information.
Right.
Social media and everything. Like a single tweet from someone like Trump, you know, can set off a chain reaction.
Yeah.
And people react so quickly.
Instantly.
It's incredible how fast it all happens.
Yeah, it's almost mind-boggling to think about the influence
I know, right?
these digital currencies have gained. They've gone from this niche interest to a major player.
It's true.
On the global financial stage.
It really shows you how technology can disrupt things.
Yeah.
Like challenge the old ways of doing things.
It challenges traditional ideas about currency and finance.
Exactly. Makes us reevaluate how we value and exchange assets.
So what do you think the future holds for Bitcoin?
Ooh, good question.
Will it ever stabilize? Become like a more reliable store of value? Like digital gold?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
And I don't know if anybody really knows for sure.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's future is still like being written, you know.
It's a story in progress.
It is. It all depends on so many things, like technological advancements, new regulations, and even, you know,
the unpredictable actions of world leaders.
Oh, for sure. And just the overall mood of the market.
The ever-changing moods.
Exactly.
It's exciting though, isn't it?
It is.
This sense of like the unknown. The possibility that Bitcoin could completely change finance.
Yeah, revolutionize it.
Or it could just crash and burn.
It could.
Leaving a trail of disappointed investors.
That's true. It's a high-stakes game.
It is.
That's what makes it so fascinating to watch.
Yeah. Bitcoin is a story of innovation and disruption and uncertainty.
And it's still being written, you know?
Yeah.
Right in front of us.
That's what's so cool about it.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks.
That's Bitcoin for you.
A deep dive into the turbulent world of Bitcoin, where fortunes are made and lost.
In the blink of an eye.
In the blink of an eye.
Crazy.
Where global events and market sentiment just collide.
And create that roller coaster.
Yeah, a roller coaster of volatility.
Totally.
You've heard the analysis.
We've seen the data.
Now it's time for you to decide.
What do you think?
Do you think Bitcoin is the future of finance? Or is it just a speculative bubble waiting to burst?
It's a tough word.
What will its next chapter hold?
Who knows?
Something for you to ponder.
Definitely something to think about.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Bitcoin.